Like, get cards at scale, look at them, inspect them, grade the best ones, find the right investments, repeat.
Welcome back, everyone, to another SlabStox FC episode. My name is Aaron, your host on this YouTube show, and I'm joined here by Anthony from SACC Cards. Thank you so much for joining me. We are going to talk about 3 different analytical approaches to soccer card investing. And Anthony, thanks for joining me. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, Aaron, thanks so much for having me on. It's an honor, and I appreciate very much your content that you have. So it's nice to be in the presence here, and if we can help people out today, I'm excited about that. So
good deal. Before hopping into the 3 examples you brought to the table, how did you get involved in soccer cards, and what's a little bit about your background, just for a couple minutes?
Yeah, so we started investing in soccer cards October 1st, 2019. Before that, we did a fair share of research into the market, specifically soccer cards. I didn't really get much into studying too much about what basketball and baseball was doing. I have a fair share of baseball cards from as a kid, late 80s, early 90s stuff. So this is kind of just getting back into what I enjoyed doing as a kid and seeing an opportunity to do some pretty good business with it. So that's why we jumped in October 1st, 2019. So what we've done is we've positioned SACC Cards as a part of our company, Student Athlete Coaching Consulting. We teach players how to get recruited. So, and there's a training business involved in that. So it's a branch of the company. I was a student athlete for a lot of my life, and I played soccer and baseball as a kid. So and I'm still involved in it every single day. I'm involved in soccer and soccer coaching, and trying to help lead our community to do good things for youth soccer players.
That's awesome. Really great. Appreciate that you do that for sure. Any way to get students involved in sports is a great way to go. I myself played a lot of sports as a student as well. So that's cool.
What did you play?
So sophomore year of college, I actually went to St. Thomas University of St. Thomas in Minnesota for 1 year to play basketball, and then D3 school. And then I actually went back to medicine. So I bounced around a little bit, but that's what I did. Play basketball.
Awesome.
Sweet. So let's hear about some of these examples you brought to the table. I want to hear about some of these different soccer investing, analytical approaches that you had.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of it has to do with, what cards are currently selling for now. What is a projected market for these cards? How many cards are there of this? What are people currently doing with those cards? What do I think people are going to do with those cards? So, we're big into women's soccer cards. We collect a wide range of different cards, but we're big into women's soccer cards. So 2 of the examples I've highlighted are women's soccer cards, and then more of a modern current card that's kind of popping right now.
Awesome.
So when we first started being into women's soccer cards, a good place to start would be Mia Hamm. And I don't know if you've heard of that name before. If you follow women's soccer cards, she's top 3 iconic players probably of all time. She's an American player. She was involved in one of our first teams in 1991. And then I think she played in 4 or 5 World Cups. So we started investing in like Mia Hamm cards. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. Some of the Mia Hamm cards last year were in the range of like $3 to $10, maybe getting closer to $10 towards the end of 2019. And, it was just one of those cards that I thought, I was like, how are these cards so cheap? And it was at a point in time when a lot of cards were cheap. You can get a Pulisic rookie for $10 maybe and things like that. But I saw a window for Mia Hamm. So I bought a bunch of Mia Hamms, and I didn't do anything with selling those or grading those at the point in time. I didn't know anything about grading, so I wasn't grading at that point in time yet. But now we're very involved in grading.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of like collecting them, and nothing really happened, right? Nothing really happened. I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months, and then they jumped up to 15. And I look all the time, but I looked today before we met, and I noticed that the raw sales for the Mia Hamm, it's the 1994 Upper Deck World Cup rookie. So you can access these in that set. If search through the wax and pull out some Mia Hamm cards, but they're now selling in the range of $20 to $30. in what we can kind of consider maybe a down market, where not necessarily a lot of soccer cards are selling for what they were selling for in late July and August,
Yeah.
June through August, we'll say, during that boom with Champions League and everything else going on.
Yeah.
And then also a PSA 10 of that card recently sold for 175, which I would consider extremely low.
There you go.
Those prices might stay there for a little while until women's soccer starts getting a little bit more attention. There was a lot of attention with the World Cup in 2019, and then the proposed date time for the Olympics was 2020, which didn't happen because of coronavirus.
Right.
So that just kind of fizzled off, and we are here now with whatever it is.
Right. What's the pop report on that card? How many PSA 10s are there out there?
So it says here we have 35 PSA 10s, 65 PSA 9s, and 15 PSA 8s.
Nice. So like about 100 graded or so?
Yeah, it says 121 total. Comparing it to, maybe a World Cup Prism rookie for Messi and Ronaldo, which the pop reports have really jumped, especially as of late. That pop report is extremely low.
Yeah, super tiny, and that's where a lot of opportunity comes in, not just soccer, but so many of the other territories and cards. Is what is the PSA population like, and is it really low? And if you can be the first to starting to get some of those 10s and 9s in there, you can really do well going in and grading those cards for sure.
Absolutely, and I think with the women's cards, it's a particular niche. It's not, there's probably not going to be as many people investing and collecting in U.S. women's national team cards. And I think timing is going to have a lot to do with it. So when they start maybe working towards the Olympics, or when the Olympics going on, it'll get some attention. It's different than the men's, because the men's side, I think it's 21 and under play in the Olympics, but for the women's side, it's open to any age.
It is, because I knew that about the men's Olympics, but I wasn't sure about the women's because you kept bringing that up. So I imagine that they were playing in it. In fact,
they are. It's just there's no age restrictions, so you're seeing the best of the best, which is really cool. So a lot of our current iconic players, and Carly Lloyd, Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe, and then some of the younger players, they're going to be on stage at that point in time. So I anticipate that there'll be a lot of tension around.
Hey, I'm sure you're a big Rose Lavelle fan, huh? Because she graduated from Wisconsin.
Hey, there you go. I am a big Rose Lavelle fan. I'm excited hopefully we start seeing some more products come out with like Mal Pugh and Rose Lavelle and Lynn Williams, some of these younger players, so that we can start investing more in them.
Yeah, I want to pick up some Rose Lavelle cards. That's awesome. That's really cool. What did you do anything? Because this is like when I was thinking about women's soccer cards, and I was looking at some of them. I didn't end up buying any, but I was just curious. 2017 Select for Alex Morgan seems like one of those sets that people can maybe gravitate towards because of the fact that it's Select, and that's a popular set crossover for basketball. And then also even just for soccer, that 2015 Select set's huge. So is that card that you were looking into?
Yeah, no, we have a few of them, a few of the base. We have a couple of the Prisms, and I noticed that the Alex Morgan was actually selling quite high all of a sudden during the middle of the boom over the summer. And then I straight away started investing in some of the other players like Carly Lloyd, Samantha Mewis is in there. Crystal Dunn, I think, is in there. But I went harder on Carly Lloyd because I think she might be the best female player ever.
Right.
Alex Morgan was getting a lot of attention in that series, and her card, the base, I think, was selling for $20-25.
Yeah. And then another set that I remember that came out and was big for the women's soccer cards was Immaculate in 2018. That was pretty huge because I remember seeing, the massive Messis and the massive Ronaldos popping out of there. But then also I'm on Facebook and Twitter and stuff. I'm like, holy cow, there's some huge Alex Morgan cards popping out of here too. Do you scoop up any Immaculate?
I have very few of it. I kind of missed the boat. I wasn't in on that yet. And by the time I got in, like Immaculate less people were breaking it. So I got in on a couple and grabbed US ladies, but a lot of it was already out. I know a couple people in the industry that have a bulk of the Immaculate US ladies. I was telling you that we went really hard on the gold standard and the obsidian.
Yeah.
So we have a good chunk of that stuff. And I imagine those sealed cases, the count is lower and lower and lower as we go through time, but we have a good chunk of the U.S. women's national team stuff from those two.
Awesome.
Immaculate, unfortunately.
Yeah, I do think that came out before you started in October, because I remember that was out during the summer of 2019. Really cool, really cool. What else were you looking at here? A couple of the other examples let's talk about.
Yeah, so another one with women's, two other series which I don't think a lot of people know about is the 2015 USA Soccer Series. And then there's a 2016 USA Soccer Series, which highlights the U.S. men's and U.S. women's national teams in both years. The first one was the 2015 USA Soccer Series. I think there was 512 cases only created, so which 5,120 boxes. In those boxes, each box you get an autograph card, you get 2 memorabilia cards, and then you get the full set of U.S. men's and U.S. women's national team, and it's got 7 holographic inserts on average inside of those boxes. So we've gone quite hard on those. A big reason is because we enjoy the series. I mean, we just like the cards that are in it, and because of the low count as far as what was created for those series. So we're big into it. We break it. That was one of the first series I started collecting at scale, I would say. And now we're integrating the holographic cards as well. One of those cards is the Kristen Press World Cup holo foil rookie. Now, let me just pull up the data here that I dug up. And this is pretty recent data as well. So September 2nd, that holo foil rookie sold for $4. And then a few days later, we sold 8 of them at 16 per. So it was
good.
A convenience of us having those cards up, and nobody else really did. And then people were jumping in saying, "Hey, I'm going to get as many of these as we only had 8 listed. We're going to get as many of these possible." I asked him, I was like, "What do you intend on doing with these?" He's like, "And we intend on grading them." So that to me was like, okay, there's other people out there that are thinking along the lines that we are, which is fantastic. So now we know that there's a market for that card.
Right. And what's your theory or your idea behind buying and selling these? Are you doing some short-term stuff, also holding stuff for long-term, helping those small profits to power your long-term buys? What's the agenda there?
Good question. I mean, I love the middle. I love the day-to-day action. I wouldn't necessarily say that we're day traders, but I don't have any sentimental attachment to any of our cards. I don't PC. A lot of what we have done is kind of, I didn't know what you guys did, and I was doing what I thought was right. And then I started following your content. I'm like, oh, these guys are kind of doing what we're doing. Like get cards at scale, look at them, inspect them, grade the best ones, find the right investments, repeat. So then that's kind of the model that we've been following, and it's been good for us. So I appreciate that middle and the action. And we invested in Ansu Fati like a while ago in the Obsidian breaks. We got them graded. I got 6 of them back graded. I've sold 4 of them already before he got hurt. So
that's awesome. Congrats.
And I got criticized for it. Like some of my close friends in the industry, like, no, you need to hold that orange, like hold it. And I just thought differently about it. I was like, okay, this card has increased, 200% raw sales. So it was like, to me, it was like a good moment to kind of sell those cards.
Yeah, I mean, definitely capitalize on a profit for sure. You can never go wrong with taking a profit. That's what I like to say.
Yeah,
for sure.
You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know, like some of these young guys, when they're going to get hurt or traded, or anything could happen really. We like to kind of grade, move our inventory. I just now started putting stuff into a safe, but there's not much of it in it. I call it the 401k.
Yep, there you go.
You know what I mean? So it's, but everything's for sale.
Yeah. Awesome. That's a good way to be open to, is to knowing that, like, now some stuff, I have a huge collection, so I love collecting. I've been collecting cards my whole life, but a good way to do it is that, like, anything you buy as an investment, keep as an investment so that you can sell that when the time comes. And you're not like, do I do it? Do I not? Then you hesitate, and then Ansu Fati gets injured, and then you can't sell it for as much. So good on you there.
Yeah, just real quick with the press. Yeah, A10 just sold for $115, but that's pretty good. You take a card that sold raw for $4 in early September, and then it sold a month and a half later, PSA 10 for $115. I think that's just a start. And Serena Williams' husband bought that. So
really?
now you have yeah, you have people like big names coming into the industry and advocating for women and trying to get like that the equality movement and empowerment and things like that. So there's a lot of people that are coming into the industry that are behind that and want to see more with women's soccer cards.
Bought that from you?
Yeah, you did.
Serena, that's awesome. That's the founder of Reddit.
Yeah, exactly. So and it's all about, putting women on the map. I think more than it is like he knows that card's going to do well, but it's more about the purpose behind it. Why and a lot of people are investing for those reasons, which is cool.
That's awesome.
And I think it's just a start because she plays for Man U and she's going to score a lot of goals. So
yeah, nice.
And then you want to talk Reyna?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk Gio.
He's getting his first start here in 4 minutes, so we're gonna get.
Oh, we got power through the rest of this then.
Yeah. Reyna. I mean, his Topps Bundesliga Chrome card. Which I don't know if you guys posted about it or Sunday League Investors might have posted about it as well.
I think both of us did.
The flip, I mean, you have a card that was, I think, originally when it first popped out, like maybe $60. In late July or early August, in the range of like 50 to 100. And I think now raw they're selling for 200 to 250. PSA 10, I think yesterday just sold for $850.
Wow. See, that's really interesting because that has overtaken Holland now for the PSA 10 Topps Chrome because he's 700. So it's interesting because, for a long time, I know when Holland came out, he was like 100 to 125, went up to 250 for non-graded. But Gio's really caught it big. Is that the American soccer wave kind of pushing here?
I think it is. And I think about this a lot, having a look at what he looks like in the dynamic of the U.S. men's national team is going to be big. I know it's going to take time. He's only 17. He's a young player.
That's crazy.
But it is crazy. But I think when Pulisic gets healthy and they start mixing in, you'll see more. That'll be another level. But I just want to. I'm all for, like, I support Americans and U.S. men's national, all that. Like, I'm big into it. But I think a big reason why he's looking so good right now and has all these assists is because of Holland. I actually think Holland is the guy. But because of the environment that he's in right now and who he's playing with and the opportunities that he's getting, I think it's just really making his card look good. And that's why we've seen this and why we're probably going to continue to see an uptick in value for that card.
Yeah, and I really think that Topps Chrome Bundesliga set, I don't know if people are holding the product sealed, like many people are holding this thing sealed because they're seeing what the Champions League boxes are selling for and everything. But I really feel like that the supply is not that high on the base and the refractors. Refractors are extremely low of these players, very low. And us here, we love talking supply and scarce cards and all that stuff. So really fits the mold for a product that I'd be like, man, that's really interesting and something to look for, which is why, even if Holland does have a Champions League Topps Chrome that comes out at the end of this year, I still think that Bundesliga one is going to be huge because, first card that released and everything, and should be good.
No, I'm excited about it as well. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Holland as far as his Topps Finest card with Salt.
Yeah.
A lot of people are talking about that as the card that should be maybe sought out a little bit more for Holland. But I don't like for Reyna. I think Reyna is going to drive that. Reyna and Holland are going to drive that series.
Yeah, well, thinking about it, so Champions League Topps Chrome is supposed to release, I think, at the end of this month, beginning of December, sometime in that range. And Holland, if he's in that set, I'm assuming that he'd be in the Salzburg kit because that's where he debuted in Champions League, and the set was supposed to release in June. So I'm assuming he might be in the Salzburg kit. And I think, like, if you think like long term, like 2 to 5 years from now, people looking back aren't going to be like, oh, Finest released before Champions League Topps Chrome, so it should be worth more. I really think that the Topps Chrome brand is just so much bigger that it'll blow it away long term. But I can see why people would say that the Topps Finest should be worth more. Yeah,
no, it'll be interesting to see what happens. They're both good cards. I think they're all going to be sought out. I think Holland is huge. I chose Reyna just because there was a big push. And like his card value has really, 4x, 5x raw sales and NPSA sales since the beginning, since that. Which is
100%.
Probably going to continue to go.
100%. That's awesome. All right, looking to wrap this thing up right now. What are some last thoughts you have for people getting into the soccer card market, or how should they get involved, or what are the first steps that they can take? Just anything that you have for people that love soccer and want to get involved.
Yeah, no, I would lead with fun, and you know, that's got to be, you got to enjoy what you're doing. Number one, I would do research. Definitely, you know, get involved with some good groups on Instagram and Facebook, and kind of just learn and ask questions, and you know, study eBay sales and what's going on and what's trending and what people are talking about for sure. Don't go outside of your means. You know, it was really close. Like, we were touching that line with doing too much or investing too much, like, because it's exciting, you know, like when you're onto something and you know something's going to do well, you want to go into it, right?
Hey,
So
I've done that way too much in my lifetime.
close that line and you're like, it's scary for a little while. So, but we're okay now, and it's getting into the category of more and more fun every day. So I'd say have fun, do your research, get to know good people, people that are going to help you, people that you can enjoy the hobby with. It's always nicer to share with other people what's going on. So
For sure.
I would find somebody trustworthy that you can work with and learn with and grow with.
That's
So,
awesome. Some great advice for people for sure. Thank you so much, Anthony, for joining. This is a great time talking women's soccer cards, because we haven't had anyone come on even bring it up yet. So actually, possibly Tyler out in New York brought it up once, but you know, mostly we haven't had too much women's soccer talk. So it's really cool. Thank you so much for joining.
Aaron, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome. This was SlabStox FC on your Sunday. Hope you enjoy your Sunday, and we will see you guys next week.